This is part of the Deep Questions series, and the question for today is, do our lives matter? This is a question that seems to be deep down in the human psyche. We need to find meaning. So as humans, we're forever looking for meaning for our lives. But the difficulty is knowing where to find it. My own story and the story of my quest began by questioning the meaning of life. Asking the question, is there more that I'm not seeing? Some say we find meaning in what we do. Some say it's about self-help. Some say it's about success. Some say you need to look within to find your own meaning. But the heart of the question is meaning what we make, or is it what we're made for? Jesus talks about two men building houses, each using different foundations. One uses sand, one uses rock. Rock is solid and it shapes the house. Sand can be one thing one day and something else the next day. It's fluid in its movement. We can try to pull the sand together to build our lives on, but it shifts. We can be in pursuit of happiness, but it doesn't last. Maybe relationships is the answer, but every human love can't conquer death. Every relationship is heading for heartbreak. So how about social activism? Surely that'll give us a purpose, doing good. But unfortunately, most just causes rely on fallible human beings. And for that reason, I would argue that it's an even greater leap of faith to ground your belief and reliance on humanity than on God. Today, it can feel like the world is spiralling out of control. Depression is skyrocketing. How do we find meaning? Well, what if? What if it was never about the meaning we make, but the meaning who makes us? What if only Jesus can take those fractured pieces of our lives and bring hope? When it feels like something has gone wrong at the heart of our world, we're led to those questions. Who am I? How do I understand my own identity? Why am I here? What's my purpose? So what if you're not here by simple chance? And that doesn't rule out science. If you come to my house and I'm boiling a kettle to make some tea, and you ask me why the kettle is boiling, I could say one of two things. I could say, well, it's underneath a heat source, and through a process of conduction, the heat energy is being transferred through a metal plate, and that energy is being transferred into the water molecules, which absorb energy and become agitated until they turn into vapour, and that's why it's boiling. It's a great answer from a science student. But the alternative answer is equally true, and that answer is, why is the kettle boiling? It's because I want a cup of tea. Would you like one too? Both those explanations are true. The science is true and the personal explanation is true. Just because I understand the science doesn't disprove a person behind it. The message of Christianity and the good news is that you and I were created, designed, brought into existence by a loving God. That's where it starts. We were created in the image of God to look a bit like him, to reflect him. But instead of accepting God, we've decided we could do a better job of living our life ourselves, our way. It's what Christians call the fall. We were created to be something very beautiful, and we've fallen away from it. We've lost what we had at the start of creation, and we spend our lives searching for things to be right again, hoping that one day we'll find that meaning and hope. And that means that if there's to be any hope in this world, we need someone to come and not just change what we're thinking or change our ideas, or what we feel, or how we experience our emotions, or even make us change what we do. We need someone to change who we are. We need someone to intervene in this world and change the nature of our existence so that we can become what we were always intended to be. And that is the Christian good news. That's what it's all about. When we turn our backs on God, it's not just that we lose some kind of compass to tell us what to do. We lose something very fundamental that makes us who we are. Jesus Christ came into the world as God, that's who he is. And when he goes to the cross, he takes into his being everything that has gone wrong in you and me, all of those things that have robbed us of who we should be. He paid the price, and he comes to every single human being and offers us a new birth, a new life, a new start with him. And once you become a Christian, he starts to change not just what you do, but what you desire to do. And the starting point is being forgiven for every single thing that has been wrong in your life. So God has broken through in this world, not just to change how we think, though that's important, not just to change what we do or how we feel, but first and foremost to change who we are with a new life, a new identity. That's what it means to be a Christian. And once you receive this new birth, then God starts to change you from the inside out. But it starts with an understanding of who you are. And in the bigger picture, it leads to seeing how one day there will be a new heaven and a new earth, and we'll see that design as it was always meant to be. And it'll be incredible. So what's the purpose God has for you? You're not here by chance, you're here by design. God doesn't make mistakes. It's not about how significant you feel you are, it's about how significant you can be in his hands. Every single one of us is made in God's image to show the world what God is like. We're created to actively partner with God. From the very beginning, God has actively been looking for partners. What a risk he's been taking. I know with me anyway. But that is what we're made for. That means that every human on the planet is bursting with potential, made to be God's creative, generous blessing over all the earth. We each have such potential, but it starts with Jesus, who has brought the opportunity for every one of us to know forgiveness and new life when we put our lives into his hands. Is meaning what we make it, or is it what we're made for? If you want to chat, do get in touch. Enjoy your day. Bye for now.